Dodgers ace Clayton Kershaw speaks out on the team's decision to honor anti-Catholic drag queens. Blue Jays pitcher Anthony Bass apologizes for speaking out. And the SEC spring meetings continue to offer a bevy of storylines this week. Check it out and more on the Wednesday edition. Crane Company. Let's be honest, tampering is and will always be an issue in sports. And now, with the freedom of the transfer portal mixed with NIL in college athletics, it's at an all-time high. Coaches like Kirby Smart and others have said as much. And while there's no way to keep people and players from using third parties or past connections to gauge interest or pursue other players, there is one way I think you can at least combat it. That way is by having players sign contracts with said school if they are receiving NIL money. And these contracts state that in order to receive the full amount of the NIL payments, the player must stay a certain amount of years at the school they're receiving the NIL from. If that player breaches the contract or decides to leave before that term is up, they must repay either all or a percentage of the NIL money they have received. I've said on many occasions, I have no problem with players being able to leave in most instances. But those paying these players the extra money should have some protections. Now, I get that for this to really go into effect and become a reality, a school would have to be the first to implement it and jump in, and it could hurt recruiting initially. But if the right school with enough sway does pull the trigger on this, I do think you would see a domino effect pretty quickly after. It would cause players to think twice before seeking out or going about leaving in a nefarious way. Now, since the geniuses who run college athletics decided to open up multiple Pandora's boxes at once with no guardrails and NIL and the transfer portal, this would be a way around trying to get rules put in place federally or by means that would end up with more antitrust lawsuits than you could count. Now, as I've also stated on multiple occasions, I am glad that players can get paid for their name, image, and likeness. I do the same thing. But if you're going to get into the business of business, you have to understand it is a two-way street. And eventually, the people pumping the money into these individuals or collectives are going to want guarantees. After all, they're fans of that school. Now, that doesn't just mean football either. We've seen college basketball become a carousel that never stops, and this could add some much-needed continuity to teams who are having to replace whole rosters year in and year out. It's a pretty clean fix, and while you will never stop tampering, at least this may tamp it down somewhat. I'm going to bring in my co-hosts, David Cohn, former Michigan quarterback, and my brother, repping the nice brown jacket. Again, I'm loving the get up today. I don't want to make it weird. I don't want to make it weird. It's a good color blue. It reminds me of the old.
I would like to make it weird.
It's the Ole Miss powder blue look. That's like
you can't beat that.
You can't beat it.
Well, I always think like it's never weird until you say I'm not trying to make it weird.
Yeah, but right? I can see the look in your face.
It's like that comment. It's like when you say it's like, look, I'm not trying to be mean.
Yeah.
But then follows up by something that's going to be mean.
Yeah, with all due respect. Yes, and then you say something unbelievably disrespectful. Exactly. But David, I do want to start with you. We've talked about NIL. We've talked about the transfer portal. We've talked about all these things happening at once, the COVID year and the extra time that you get. But at some point, on the other side of players, which they should be receiving these NIL payments, even though I'm not the biggest fan of the collectives. I thought NIL was, if Bryce Young wants to do a Dr. Pepper commercial, Bryce Young's people talks to Dr. Pepper's people, and they work it out without a middleman, but we've lost that with the collectives. But don't you think this could somewhat clean it up a little bit, or maybe make it more kind of straight-laced?
How do we not have contracts? What, 18-year-olds are old enough to become multimillionaires by playing college football, but they're not old enough to honor their commitments and sign contracts? See, this is the powers that be in college football were so concerned in the other rooms with signing the TV deals, they haven't been watching the product. Yeah. Now the product, like you and I were talking about this past season, the product on the field is going to be good for a while. No matter what, it's going to take time for it just to constantly decay. But that's what it will do unless you pay attention to it. And we talk to people all the time that's like, college sports is going the wrong direction for me. And I've been a lifelong fan. We hear from those types of people all the time. Yeah, I mean, look, Jalen Hurts can call his old buddy Derrick Henry and say, hey, you know what? You should come play running back this next season for the Philadelphia Eagles because the Titans aren't going to win anything. And what keeps him from doing that? What keeps that from being labeled tampering? Well, the guys signed contracts, right, in the NFL. We're the same way. We have a contract here. You can't just go the next day, go work for someone else. Like that's how these things work. So these kids, they have to be able to figure it out. Now, on your point of, it's going to take one school to come up and maybe get hit in recruiting first, it shouldn't be on individual schools. That's why we need the leaders of the governing bodies. It's like in the NFL, you wouldn't expect just one team like the Dallas Cowboys to say, you know what, we should institute a salary cap. No, they'd get destroyed. Who would want to go play there? You'd go play for all the other NFL teams. It takes the entire body and the entity to say, no, we're going to institute a salary cap because that's going to be more egalitarian for the league.
Yeah, and in a perfect world and the best way possible, yes, there would just be some blanket rule. But I feel like if NIL was all right, here's the deal for every school, it's even this way, here are the rules, here's the way it's going to work, then that could be done. With the different collectives and different schools making money, I mean, you have schools coming out now basically saying, look, it's money laundering. It is. That's really what it is. It's so disorganized, I don't think there could be a blanket rule because there's so many different hands and so many different pots, and it's different at Texas A&M than it is at Louisville. And I think now, Blaine, and this is something we've mentioned, it got to the point when all this got let go that the people on the other end were so afraid of looking not like bigots, but like they weren't for the players or worried about, looking bad or being, the big bad corporation, that they were afraid to make any moves. And we've had people in the political world come on here and say federally, I mean, there's not much we can do because once you let that bad boy out of the bag, there's no putting it back in. But if a Georgia or a school where, I'm just using that as an example, that players understand if they go there, it is an avenue to go make a ton of money in the NFL. Were to implement this, I think others would fall in line very, very quickly, but it would have to start at the top, right?
Well, I just don't know how they would do it. I mean, if you go from state to state, every state's going to be different. If they do a blanket law, everybody, the amount of money each school has is going to be different. And recruiting is about what? Recruiting is about image. That's what, if you're a kid, right, and one school did it, why would you ever want to go to that school? Like it's a lose-lose for you. So they'll never get it done. I mean, should it be contract based? 100%. There's no reason it shouldn't be because, I mean, if anything, it's just a free way to get out anything you want. But they're not going to do it because it's about image, money they can't cover, and 3 state laws which won't come down and do the right thing. So football now, what do you always say? They're building the parachute on the way down. Hell, I don't even know if they're building the parachute. There's going to throw money at these kids.
Hoping to land.
Yeah, they're just going to throw
Mr.
as much
Potato
money
Head
at these kids as they can and hope and pray and put all their trust in an 18-year-old kid who's making $500,000 that he's going to get enough snaps and it's going to go right for him enough this year for him to stay at their school.
Yeah. Well, if you think about it in its most base form, here's what you did. You said, hey, we'll pay you money while you're playing at this school for your name, image, and likeness. And also, you can leave whenever you want. Like you did both of those. Like you don't have to be a business major to realize that that's going to create some problems. So maybe it's through the businesses, right? I don't think the collectives are going to do it. And we got buddies that are in collectives. I understand. People going to get their bag, go get your bag. That's why I never get mad at people when people say, oh, well, you took advantage of the tax laws, so you didn't have to pay as much taxes. Well, yeah. That's just using common sense. If you're going to give me rules in sports that I can push the envelope in some like fake injuries and stuff like that, if it's going to help me win, I am going to do that. So I will never get mad at someone for going to get their bag in that way. But you literally did the 2 worst things you could do for trying to get somebody to stay by paying them, and then just let them say, hey, you know what?
That's what I'm saying. They didn't think it would matter.
Yeah,
they're signing the TV deals. And it was like you get called exploitative enough, and you're like, well, what can we do to make sure that we're not exploiting anyone?
Then you get exploited.
But to the point,
that's the funniest thing.
But to the point of this could never happen because there's all these different states and there's so many different teams and there's no overarching, because the NCAA is basically non-existent anymore. That is true, and it's not necessarily a bad thing either, because it is in this sense that it's hard to like implement a rule for every single team to follow. That's where this is a negative. But one of the reasons we all like college sports so much is because it is more local and regional.
Yeah.
You don't have this like big badge that MLB or the NFL over that can just make these overarching rules and say every team has to do this by tomorrow, including like wear a pride flag or something because one of our sponsors wants it, right? Well, you can't do that with 130 or more different local and regional schools, which is one of the great things about college athletics. But when you're trying to institute a couple rules to make a fair playing field, that's what makes it tough, because now at SEC Spring Media Days, they're down there talking about, this state's instituting laws to get an edge up on Alabama. Like it's going to the legislature of states.
That's how much it matters.
So that they can be Auburn and be out. And it's, look, the free market, like I'm always, have as few rules as possible, right? Because you start to add more and more, it gets convoluted in whatever situation you're talking about. Let the free market do its thing. But like you said, if we're going to have a level playing field within a conference, or even more importantly, I think within a country for college athletics, we have to agree on something.
For sure.
Right?
It's just like any negotiation, right? There's got to be some sort of compromise on both ends, or you're never. I think that's one of the biggest problems we have right now in the country is nobody is willing to budge on anything, so nothing can ever get done.
It's hard to get a lot of coaches in a room and get them to compromise with each other.
That's what Drinkwitz
it's a stalemate.
Said, right? We'll get to Drinkwitz.
Yeah, we'll get to that. Let us know, too, in the comments. Do you think players should have contracts as we're talking about? I think it's a fascinating conversation. But speaking about fascinating, look, guys, we know, all right, spring, going into summer, people are going outside. And if your skin, everybody doesn't tan the same, right? Some people just burn. Like my beautiful wife just burns. Like the sun it's like Howie from Benchwarmers.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just
from the sun.
But we just tan. We really don't burn. But our friends over at Genucel, all right, they're dark spot corrector. I'm telling you, if you're somebody that has kind of a problem, loves going outside, but has a problem with the sun, you need to check this out. They also have upgraded their most popular package to feature their top-selling, deep-firming vitamin C serum, plus ultra retinol moisturizer with a natural retinol alternative. And right now, you can take advantage of this limited-time package upgrade for 70% off. It's basically free.
Wow.
Nobody's offering 70% off of anything anymore. This is basically like stealing. So why waste time and money to go get work done on your face when you can get Genucel skincare shipped right to your door? Robert in Blessing, Texas talked about he got it for his girlfriend. She saw the results super fast. Her skin is noticeably softer and smoother, which is a win for both parties. Shout out Robert. Their secret is the family recipe. It's over 20 years, all right? Makes it safe for all skin types. Perfect for both men and women. That's a very important point. And made by a compounding pharmacist in small batches and always safe, cruelty-free, and natural. Just the way we like it. So go to Genucel.com/booster. That's GENUCEL.com/booster and try Genucel's most popular package for 70% off, featuring the Ultra Retinol and Firming Serum. Get a complimentary Spa Essentials box with every package order, plus free upgrade to priority shipping. That's Genucel.com/booster. Genucel.com. Face your face without fear. Genucel.com/booster. God, I love making up those slogans. All right, Booster Club, what up?
All right, we got a couple donations. The poll for today, the Booster Club wanted is Jake a French spy.
I'm just not
a French spy.
A French spy.
Yeah, so that's
For
what they wanted. So,
Okay.
Serve Potatoes, $6 donation. Thank you, sir. Says sing, blang, sing. No one wants to hear me sing on here.
You singing today?
I don't
Get a
think-
letter?
I'm in outside. I'm singing.
We just got a letter. We just got a letter.
Oh yeah.
Put your hands up. Okay.
I never watched Blue's Clues.
Let's go to Maximum Vol.
Yeah, me neither.
$5 donation. As a self-proclaimed resident Tennessee fan, I need the boys to say one nice thing about Tennessee football today. Look, the thing about it is, like, we haven't been harping on Tennessee. Maybe Joe Milton, but
It was the
Barrett
guest.
Sallee came on, ragged them.
Yeah.
Tom Luganville came on, ragged them. So
Danny Cannell came on.
Danny came on, ragged them. So keep it up. Y'all are killing it. So a little compliment for Tennessee.
No, I'll do one better than that. Wish that I was on a Rocky Top down in the Tennessee hills. There we go.
Yeah,
Just for
here's,
you, man.
here's what I'll say. Vol Navy is one of the best traditions in college football. We played there when I was at South Alabama. If you have not gone to a game in Knoxville, it's a great city regardless of who you root for. And they're adding kind of something like the Battery Do you see that?
Oh, I did see
Like
that.
in Knoxville, that is going to be so dope. We should do a show from there.
We
should. The
Never
ball
been.
navy-
I've only heard great things.
You see them pulling up, man. I'm telling you, it is really, really cool. It's a great tradition in college
When's
football.
that
But look,
open?
Tennessee's back. Let's just go ahead and say it, all right? Old Tennessee's dead, all right? They put that one to rest, buried it, all right? Hendon Hooker helped with Josh Heupel. Now, does that mean that Tennessee is going to win 10 games this year? I don't think so, because I don't believe in Joe Milton. But look how they've recruited. And the difference in Tennessee, it's not just at the quarterback position, it's up front. That's the biggest jump that they've made. They are now legitimate up front. They have legitimate depth. It's not just a starting five on the offensive line, not just the first four or first three with a jack, however you get down on the defensive side. They have legitimate depth, and that's how you're able to hang with the Bamas. That's how you're able to hang with these teams and get to that 10-win mark and become what Tennessee is. And that is a place where football is king, it wears the crown, and every year they're going to bring the noise. Tennessee's back, fellas. They're back. So there you go.
How many games does Tennessee win this year?
8.
I would be okay with
8.5.
Tennessee fan.
That's going to be tough.
Look at you.
Had a
Love
great
that.
first half.
Let's go to Max A. He says, NIL, I just find to be sketchy, especially now become a social media contest. More about your following rather than the on-field performance.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's just like anything with sponsors, right? Just like this show, the more views we get, the more sponsors we get. They want eyeballs. It's not just about saying that you're a sponsor, but the point about NIL, players should get paid for their name, image, and likeness. They should. In every business, you get paid for your name, image, and likeness outside of, a lot of 9-to-5 jobs and stuff like that. If you're in the media world or the sports world or the entertainment world in general, I've got no problem with that. It would be hypocritical for me to sit up here and say, hey, go to Daily Wire, go to Originals and buy some of our merchandise with our face all on it. Hey, click on this link with our face all on it and not want to get paid for that. That'd be unbelievably hypocritical. But the problem is, if somebody wants to sponsor our show, they reach out to our entity and there's a deal struck between those two entities. There is no middleman. In college athletics, it is not Bryce Young and Dr. Pepper. It's Bryce Young, the collective, the university, there's middlemen. Everybody has their hands in the pot because there's so much money to be made. NIL is polluted, but it's not the concept, it's the execution. That's the problem, in my opinion.
Let's go to the house that Cody built. He says, at Blaine, the Daily Wire should buy Trader Joe's
Yeah.
and rename it Trader Jake's.
Guys, listen, I'm going to say
Didn't see that one coming, did you?
Wow.
Listen,
First off,
turn.
That is.
He M. Night Shyamalan me. That's fine. You can M. Night Shyamalan me. That's great. All I said was the French food was better than our food over here. That's all I said.
Yeah.
That's all I said. And you know what? It's right. I'm not coming here and lie to you. Okay, and I love our food. I'm not saying our food's bad. I'm not saying I don't like Indian food. I'm not going to go to India and just ball out with the food there.
That you said the food was better. This certain type of food that you said was better. You came on our ribs. You know what I'm saying?
First off,
you came on our oysters. So you'd have said, like, look,
if
they're fettuccine pasta.
If you can't,
Way better. I get it.
I don't know why you just default to Italy on every single thing, but
that's all I know.
There's a difference between baked ribs and grilled ribs. Those are two different. You know anything about barbecue or grilling or baking things, or heck, even getting baked in general. You know there's a difference between baked ribs and grilled ribs. Totally different. The grilled ribs I judge in their own category. The baked ribs I've had, those are the best baked ribs I've had. So maybe I wasn't as specific. But the whole trader talk, I don't like that.
I just read what's
all
on
right?
the prompt.
I don't Ancestry.com it. How about that?
Let's go to Austin Blevins, hashtag Ask a Debez. What is the incentive for individuals to lock themselves up in contracts? I think you're right, but it has to be from the top down.
Yes, that's the whole problem. Again, how do you institute it now? This is something like you would have probably had to do at the beginning. But if incentive-wise, the incentive for the individual player is that it's now the new rule and it's the new norm. But it can't be the new norm until the people that are paying the money put guardrails on it. And I don't know if that's going to happen. That's the whole argument. That's the whole crux of the situation. I think it is going to take, just like in most cases when things are hard to get pushed through, one of the big schools or one of the big dogs to do it first, or one of the big businesses to do it first, and everybody else will fall in line because that becomes the new norm. But since you let that bad boy, you let Frankenstein out the door, and now he's ripping villagers apart, and you act all surprised. Now it's going to be tougher to do.
Well, most of the guys aren't making $1 million. Right?
That's
There's
true.
a couple of them that are making that. Most of the guys are getting between $10,000 and $50,000, something like that, and they're barely getting by. So it seems pretty easy. You offer them more money for a 4-year contract.
Yeah.
Just like in professional sports. You can sign here for you can sign a 4-year contract, which means you can't leave unless we let you out of your contract, or maybe it's even binding on both sides. And for that, you'll get $200,000. Or you can sign a 1-year contract and we'll maybe renew it every year if you're playing good. And for that, that's $20,000 a year.
So like every negotiation ever of all time with players. Yeah.
Exactly.
And I want to make sure I'm not just talking about the millions of dollars. And we talked about the local feel in college sports, right? I'm talking about the mom and pop shop that's in Tuscaloosa that wants to sponsor, one of the running backs. And maybe they are paying them 15 or 20 grand, but that's a lot of money to that place. Everybody's not Nike, everybody's not Walmart. So I think it is something that would affect everybody. And if I'm gonna make this investment in a player, and that is a big investment to me, even if it's $15,000, $10,000, $12,000. I want to know that player is going to be wearing the jersey and the uniform that I paid them and gave them the NIL money to support them. So for Tuscaloosa, it'd be Alabama. So I think it's something that is all across the board. And again, I can hope, but there's an old saying, you can hope in one hand and do something else in the other and see which one fills up faster.
Let's go to Steve's Action Figure Frenzy. What's up, Steve? I think there should be at least a 2-year commitment for college players on NIL with a provision that can leave before 2 years if there is a coaching change.
Again, it's all part of that's welcome to it. That's business, man. That's business. And I don't think that's a crazy thing. If the head coach leaves as a player, I used to tell our guys don't pick a school because of the head coach, but a lot of them do. So I can understand that. That's one of the caveats I had in the ability to leave to go from one school to the other. But let's go ahead. We're going to get back to the Booster Club. Remember, make sure you subscribe. Make sure you share the show. But let's get into 5 big questions.
5 huge.
They're huge.
Humongous questions.
Huge humongous.
So last week while you were out, we talked about the Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence. Do you hear a little bit about that? The drag queen nuns, the anti-Catholic group. So they're going to be honored. They're going to receive a Community Hero Award at the Dodgers game.
For what?
Pride. Community Hero Award. What?
Did they save somebody from a fire?
What did you say?
Bigot.
What did you mute his mic?
Yeah.
Security.
Yeah.
Security.
Sorry, David. I didn't mean for him to oppress you out here.
Yeah, I don't know what you're over here talking about. For being heroes.
They're beautiful butterflies flying against the wind.
And they're brave. Try it again.
They're brave heroes.
See what happens. All right, now I'm just giving you a little taste of what Clayton Kershaw is about to go through because Clayton finally spoke out. We were wondering, there's so many Catholic players in Major League Baseball and with the Dodgers, manager Dave Roberts. None of these guys have said anything. Clayton Kershaw, the ace, finally said, I don't agree with making fun of other people's religions. It has nothing to do with anything other than that. I just don't think no matter what religion you are, you should make fun of someone else's religion. So that's something that I definitely don't agree with.
It's great to see guys finally starting to speak out. But, one thing I've noticed, once you get past like the LGB and you get into the rest of it, then the problems start. And it seems like once you get to the T,
the TQ,
once it starts, it just goes off the rails.
The Dave Chappelle bit?
You talking about when they're riding in the car together?
Yeah,
that's a hilarious bit.
Yeah.
But no, like that does seem to be though the biggest problem, because here's what it's about now. It's not about acceptance. Okay, let's call a spade a spade. It's America in 2023. You can be gay, you can be whatever, you can dress up however. Nobody's being oppressed. Nobody's having rights taken away. What Clayton Kershaw is saying is, so we're going to bring people in that are making fun of a religion. Now, there's only one religion you can make fun of and get away with it nowadays, right? It's Christianity. If you did this, if they made fun of any other religion, they'd be called every phobia, whatever, in the world. But see, this isn't about acceptance anymore. This is about power. So it's a small group. And most people in this community, they just want to live their life, man. This isn't everybody. I'm not going to paint a broad brush with lesbian, gay, bi, whatever. This is a small group of people that are not oppressed. It's a dog whistle. They act like they're oppressed. They're not oppressed. They're the most coddled group in the world. They can do anything. They can make fun of Christianity and get away with it. They make fun of Catholics and get away with it. There's no repercussions to these people. So it's a power grab. Just like we see, in some of the racist things that you see nowadays. It's a power grab. And I will continue to say that people like this group, the Sisterhood of Traveling Perpetual Pants or whatever it is, They realize that they can police speech. There's no repercussions for their actions. And so they're trying to take advantage of it. Because what's more powerful, what exerts more power than saying, I can dictate what you can say? And the people that are actually the most oppressed are Christians nowadays, because they can be a punching bag for people like the Sisterhood of Traveling Indulgence Pigs.
It does seem to be that way.
And what I find that the most ironic in this is that it is a cry for so-called acceptance. And if you don't like it, then you're a hater. But they can hate. They can hate because guess what? If you're a certain orientation, you can do whatever you want. It's like South Park said, or Family Guy said, oh, well, you believe this, so you can do whatever you want. And now guys are starting to push back, and I'm never going to get to Anthony Bass, but here's my thing. I don't want Pride Night at the park. I don't want Sisterhood of Community Heroes, What's in My Pants, Let's All Look at It award, whatever it is. I don't want Religion Night at the park. You know what I want? Ballpark night at the ballpark. Or you know what? Bark in the park.
Lizzie.
Bring your dog. Or how about Veterans Day at the park? I think we can all agree to support our troops
You
and do
say
things
that,
like
you think
that.
we can all agree, but that's the problem. That creates the slippery slope, which that's why we had Spencer Clavin on last week, because he had a great statement, which was, do not retreat into neutrality. It is more morally good and more in line with the fabric of this country to be able to have like the real Catholic nuns at the ballpark, or to have, like you're saying, bark at the park, than it is to have the Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence.
Yeah, well, again, I feel like if I'm going to sit here and say, hey, let's keep the ballpark about the ballpark, like I feel like that should go for everyone. That's not saying that
it's fair.
if
That's
you're
fair.
Christian, you can't come, or you're Catholic, you can't, or we're going to celebrate. Sports is one of the last havens where we can all come together, regardless of what religion you are, sexual orientation, at least it was, and we can all say, you know what, we're going to go watch the game. My team scores. I don't care if you're Dylan Mulvaney or you drink Bud Light. We're going to high five and get excited because it's our team and it brings us together. But now sports is being used and assaulted to push narratives by small radicalized groups of people that are trying to seize power. That's just what it's become, and it's sad, and it needs to stop.
So, Blaine, the question there is, will Clayton Kershaw backtrack? And before you answer, we have to talk about the Anthony Bass situation here with the pitcher for the Blue Jays, because he basically came out and was talking about boycotting Target this past week, essentially saying, here's the reason biblically why I believe Christians ought to be boycotting Target with all of their new transgender clothing lines that they're supporting or whatever. And he said Bud Light as well, and any other corporation that is pushing the things that they're pushing. Well, he came out yesterday after saying those things, and basically, this is a real-life hostage video.
Yeah.
It feels like. Can we watch this?
I recognized yesterday I made a post that was hurtful to the Pride community, which includes friends of mine and close family members of mine, and I am truly sorry for that. I just spoke with my teammates and shared with them my actions yesterday. I apologized with them. And as of right now, I'm using the Blue Jays resources to better educate myself, to make better decisions moving forward. The ballpark is for everybody. We include all fans at the ballpark, and we want to welcome everybody. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Is that going to be Kershaw?
No, it's not. Clayton won't do that. Clayton's a different breed. Clayton's a Georgia boy. That ain't going to happen. Him, you can tell somebody's like, here, read this. Like, you're going to go on this camera and read this. One, you don't know what they have on these guys. Like when it comes to money or contracts. That's why we see a lot of women not come out and go against men in their sport, right? It's about sponsorship. It's about money. So I'm not surprised. Is it cowardly? For sure. Is it spineless? Yes. But I'm not surprised by this. We're seeing this everywhere now. I mean, everyone should be allowed to go watch a baseball game. All right, that's what, like, you should go watch baseball. That's why you're there. Well, it shouldn't be matter about who you are or what you do or who you sleep with at night. But Anthony Bass, real quick to backtrack, but I can tell you this about Clayton Kershaw. If you ever watch Clayton Kershaw throughout his career and see Clayton Kershaw do interviews, Clayton's not going to come out here and backtrack anything at all. Clayton sticks with what he says. No one that crazy on the mound is going to come out here and backtrack anything. Am I surprised for this from Anthony Bass? No, I'm not, but I guarantee 100% Clayton's not going to come out here and backtrack a word.
No, yeah, look, Clayton's made his money too. Like Clayton's in a different spot. But I want to say this. To me, if you're Anthony Bass, how can you ever look at your kids and say, stand up for what you believe in?
We just talked about contracts, right?
Yeah.
You're on a contract.
Yeah.
Like if you can't go out there and stand behind your beliefs, even when you're on a Major League Baseball contract and you've been playing the game, he's 35 years old. Like you can't come out and just stand up for your convictions after that.
Well, it's again, like it's cowardly. It's cowardly to me. I mean, I just got back from Normandy where, I watched, went and walked around a cemetery full of American bodies that went over there to stop a guy that was trying to go take over the world. So and kill off religions and make people have to do and say the things that he wanted and believed that they wanted. All right, it's so sad that men in America. I know this is in Toronto, but that there's men like this that have no intestinal fortitude. And I'm not saying the Blue Jays or the Nazi regime, but it was going over there to stop being able to be held hostage by what you believe. This is a country that if you have values, you should be able to believe them and espouse them. He didn't say anything crazy. He did what most people are doing. Mm-hmm. There's a reason Target's lost $10 billion. There's a reason Bud Lights can't give away free beer to homeless people right now if they wanted to. I mean, watching that, it just makes you sick. What did we do all this for? And if you're just going to be held hostage like a punk, this dude's a punk, and he should be ashamed of himself. The Blue Jays organization, they're a joke. Canada's a joke, in my opinion, but
even Clayton Kershaw's statement to me is the bare minimum. I mean, we're only talking about it because no one else came out and said anything. But with what Clayton said, it's just really sort of the bare minimum statement of what we should be talking about when you have an anti-Catholic hate group coming to the ballpark to receive a community service award.
Yeah, it's gotten to the point now, but I do think you are seeing people start to push back because at some point, enough is enough. And a line starts to get crossed, and you're seeing it now with people in some of these companies. It's starting to turn because it's gotten so ridiculous. You can only fool people for so long, in my opinion, I think. And I think most and a majority of Americans deep down understand when they're starting to get persecuted by radicalized people. And there's radicalized people on every side of the aisle and every sexual orientation. But right now, it is the TQ plus, I'm going to dress up like a sheep for the rest of my life, and a 9-year-old that are taking over and holding people. That was a hostage video. That was the best way to put that.
Canada,
that was a hostage video. I can get my ass out of Canada quicker. Because you want to talk about
jail.
Yeah, it's absolutely wild. Absolutely wild. But phone lines are open, 1-855-236-3228. What else?
Next one, Missouri head coach down there at SEC Spring Days, Eli Drinkwitz. He had a statement here. He was talking about these kids making NIL money, like we were saying, and some of these guys are making millions of dollars. He says they're making more than his brother-in-law, who's a pediatrician, or I think he said pediatrician, who's actually saving lives. But I just wanted to read the entire quote that he had, so it's not taken out of context, and then you guys can tell me your thoughts, okay? We're giving guys 18, 19, 20-year-olds life-changing money. People are making more money in NIL than my brother-in-law, who's a pediatrician who saves lives. And we kind of do it cavalierly, and we think that there's not going to be any side effects, there's not going to be any issues. There's information out there, there's bad actors out there always trying to make a dollar. They're involved in running around campus trying to gather information.
I like Eli. I hope he gets it done at Missouri. He's definitely on the hot seat this year. My question is, why? Why even say that? Just from a smart business sense standpoint. Like what are you going to gain by saying this? This isn't something where you're just sticking up for your values. You make more than your brother, who's a pediatrician.
$6 million a year.
And you coach the guys that you're talking about are getting more money than your brother. So just on its face, it doesn't make a lot of sense. Now, I'm not going to sit here and argue the importance of pediatricians, okay? That's totally
not a winning argument.
Yeah, that's not what I'm sitting here doing. But what are you gaining? That's why, and I think the smartest guys in business, whether it be in sports, whether it be anything, they realize before they go make a statement, what do I have to gain from this statement? So now you're kind of trashing the people who make you your money against somebody who you're making more money than. I don't understand how you would sit down and be like, yeah, this is going to be good. They'll love this. They'll absolutely love this. I think it was a mistake to even bring it up, in my opinion.
Where's the PR guy? And he's freaking out right now.
Stop.
I like Coach Drink too. I really do. He's a great guy. I think he meant this in the best way, obviously.
I agree.
I mean, you're 17 and 19. You get paid $6 million a year.
Why?
You got a $2 million extension after you got blown out by Tennessee by 42 points. So not a great look here. We'll get past it. I think he's coming from a really good place, though. I do agree that certain professions should get paid more, like teachers and EMTs, but that's not the society we live in. So just be careful. Sometimes you got to look down and see what you're walking on. And sometimes it's not concrete. Sometimes it's ice.
Yeah.
All right. So
Or fire.
Or fire. You're walking on eggshells, buddy. So Drink will get past this. I want Drink to do good. I want Drink to succeed. I think they're going to be a lot better this year. They got a couple good players, but not the best look.
The funnier thing he said was when he was talking about the 8 or 9 game schedule down there, and he said, "I'm used to be a history teacher. How in the world did the colonies become a union? We can't even agree on playing 9 football games."
It's amazing, right? It's amazing.
Well, I feel like we're a lot more agreeable back then.
Well, I mean,
to certain things.
I don't think he was like being 100% literal when he was saying that, but it does bring up a good point. That's funny. That's funny, Drink. I don't need philosopher Drink. Okay, we need good offense.
Philosopher Drink?
Philosophize.
Now that would sell.
That would.
The philosopher Drink.
We could call it the Aristotle. You like that?
it.
I like
All right, next one. Jon Gruden. Jon Gruden was down with the Saints.
Baby, come back.
Down there maybe getting a little work in with Derek Carr. Derek Carr had his best years under Jon Gruden, but Dennis Allen, head coach of the Saints, said, this is definitely not anything long-term. Why are you looking at me like that? That gets to the question, should Jon Gruden come back to the NFL?
Yes.
Or is he done?
Yes, he should come back. I tell you what, man. That Derek Carr,
Tell you what.
he's better than an electric car, man. It's so funny. Dennis Allen's like, hey, Jon Gruden, come help us on offense. Please, God, help us. But Jon Gruden, we're not going to major haul the offense. We just brought this guy in just to hang around. You knew you were going to get some backlash for bringing him in. That's how desperate you are to be good on offense. Because Dennis Allen knows it doesn't go good this year. Dennis Allen is gone. All right? They're going to fire him into the sun. All right? And then he'll go back to just being a DC. This is his shot to be the head man. And it's smart. Jon Gruden's one of the greatest offensive minds that there is. He understands Derek Carr. He understands how to get the most out of him. And kind of the installation and kind of the checkpoints of going through offensively and getting the offense into a point where they can be more efficient. Now, this is that first step back in the door for Gruden. And if you notice, the backlash hadn't been that crazy. It's kind of like dipping your toe in the water, right? Testing it. See, it was a little bit cold. You know, the Goldilocks porridge. This one's too hot. This one's too cold. Ooh, New Orleans, this one's just right. You know, because guess what? You go in there, let's say Jon Gruden, I don't know, comes in, maybe becomes a coach on offense, and the offense balls out. You think anybody in New Orleans is going to be like, get this man out of here because his emails?
The problem with making Jon Gruden the OC is he might take your job.
Yeah, but here's the thing.
He might be the head coach.
But the problem with not making Jon Gruden your OC is you probably
Someone else
won't
will
be
take
the
your
head coach. So it's kind of like, you know what I'm saying? Pick which one. Maybe your best bet is Jon Gruden comes in, he's the OC, and somebody else hires him. Somebody else takes a chance.
Yeah.
John, hey, thanks, buddy. All right, bought myself 2 years. We're legit now.
Rehabilitation clinic.
Yeah, the Center for Kids Who Want to Learn Offense
Saban
good.
does. So Saban does. Hey, you made a mistake. It's okay. Sit right here and write this down for the next 2 months. Okay, it'll be fixed.
What if Jon Gruden's like, wait, the only way I can come back to the NFL is to work with Derek Carr again?
Yeah.
Can I get
You
one
know,
of these
Ryan, when
elite
Jon Gruden
quarterbacks?
walks in, Derek says, come on.
Well, did you see what he said? He's like, Derek Carr's like,
I love
yeah.
my teammates.
He's like, Derek Carr's like, man. He's like, I know what he said, man. My kids don't be saying that, man, but man, I got to win a playoff game, man.
That's what Derek Carr
Hey, John, let's be careful on the whole email thing this time.
Yeah, John doesn't even have a computer anymore. It's like he has somebody just follows him around, and every time he picks up his phone, he just slaps it out of his hand.
Just walks around with an owl on his shoulder.
Let's stay in the NFL. Tyler Boyd, Bengals wide receiver, he said, we would have beaten the Chiefs if I was healthy. Is that true?
No. Tyler, why? Again, why?
Why?
Why? No, you wouldn't have. You're not even the best receiver on your team by a lot. Tyler's a really nice player. I think he's tough as nails too.
Yeah.
The dude will take hits, but you're not Jamar, man. You're not. The thing about the Chiefs was it wasn't their defense that was the reason that they made the run. It was their offense, right? It was Patrick Mahomes. So unless you're going to walk your ass out there at corner or nickel or safety and stop them, then it's not going to matter. But again, I like Tyler Boyd. I like his game. I like his toughness. Don't like this comment. Don't give Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid, who's over there just eating milk and cookies, finding a way to pull your pants down in front of everybody on live TV formationally. Don't give the man any more ammo. Come on, he's already pissed. His brother's in jail. He's
not too pissed.
Doing TikToks
He's
like
good.
Dressed up like Dr. Evil and Mini-Me, with like bandana. Oh man, that's such a great movie.
Are you as big on the Bengals this season as I am? Because I think they're going to be good.
Yeah, they're going
Get the offensive line.
Good.
Get the offensive line right.
They signed a boy from the Chiefs.
I know.
Left tackle. He's gonna be phenomenal.
I know.
But that's not the problem with the Bengals.
It was one of the
I
problems.
don't look at the Bengals like, y'all's offense.
The
offensive
offensive line was the biggest
Joe Burrow was looking like a
From
deer in headlights.
did y'all know how bad the offensive line was the year before that?
Oh, I know they were awful.
And how much better they got?
Yeah,
but
so
it's
if they
still
get
not
that
good.
much better again,
The reason they didn't go because of what?
I get it. They have to get better on defense.
It's
but
their defense. The reason they didn't go. When it comes to T Boyd, dog, there's certain people you don't.
Tyler Boyd.
Yeah, T Boyd. Let's call him T Boyd.
Yeah.
Well, there's also T. Higgins, so I didn't know if you were.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Call him T Higgins, T Boyd. Then
Tyler Higgins.
Spin a dreidel and see if it falls on your house. But the thing with me is like, look, man, I get it. There's certain people like you don't talk, you don't get going. Okay, that's why when Grant Williams looked at Jimmy Butler and started talking crap, I was like, oh God,
Why?
Here we go. Like when people said stuff to MJ, you know what he did?
Took that
He
personally.
took that personally, and now you're in trouble.
When you're staring down a grizzly bear, you don't walk up and try and slap it in the face.
The thing with Jordan, if he was just going to make up lies to put a chip on his shoulder anyway, like he was saying in the last dance, it's like, well, you don't have any shot anyway, so you might as well just get the trash talk in.
Everything just pissed Michael off. Like someone walked by his dinner table, he's like,
that guy thinks I'm going to lose.
Gonna walk by my dinner table.
oh yeah,
All right.
Don't pour over me.
Last one for Major League Baseball. Do we have the video here of the player getting called out, going down to first? Basically, this was going around yesterday, and people were saying that Major League Baseball needs to change this rule on when a base runner is called out. Let's watch it real quick because I want these guys to tell me what they think.
Seeing that when you see a guy far off facing a guy like this. Well, there's that butt that you were looking for. Boyd fields, and it's going to hit Bubba Thompson. It looked like, or at least in and out of the glove of Andy Ibanez.
What?
And they're going to call Bubba Thompson out of the 45-foot lane.
Look at
and
that guy.
Means that Robbie Grossman's going to have to go back to first base.
I get it if he runs out of the baseline. The baseline is there for a reason.
Yeah.
It's not a suggestion. This isn't the traffic in Paris. Like that, he ran straight. And how is he supposed to, even if you're like, no, you still got to dodge it. How am I supposed to dodge something that hits me in the back of the head that's thrown from behind? Out of all the rule changes we've seen, y'all made the bases bigger, but that rule's not going to get changed?
Come on, man.
I just understand. It just doesn't make sense, right? If anything, like, one, this should be a reviewable play, in my opinion. If you like turn around and while you're running and make an effort to get in front of the baseball, that's one thing. But that dude's just running the first, exactly on the line, the first baseline. There's really not a single thing he could have done to get out of the way of that baseball.
No, it's peg.
Yeah, so it just, Rob Manfred, please quit worrying about the bases and who comes to Dodgers games. Can we fix that?
Yeah, can we fix the sport real quick?
Right.
Thanks. Here, maybe you should put a clock on it.
And I'm all for the
Doesn't make
bases
any
being
sense.
bigger. I'm all for it. Like as a first baseman, like I don't want to get my ankle stepped on. You don't want your best player to step on ankles running the first.
Well,
I
it's
get
priority,
that.
right?
Yeah, but it's just like that's just ridiculous.
Well, if I get in a car crash and like I've got my leg is falling off and I have a scrape on my finger, don't go fix my finger first. Like fix my leg. It's pretty simple. That's
Doesn't make
crazy.
sense.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what else isn't simple, or what is simple. Let's call in 1-855-236-3228. But it's Wednesday, and on Wednesdays, our boy Conathan over there.
oh yeah,
people
today's
on
the
his
day,
lawn.
baby.
All right. Are they gnomes? Are they aliens? Is it the paper boy? Doesn't matter. Somebody's getting off your lawn. So, Cone, Who's G'ing off your L today?
A year ago, on the week leading up to Memorial Day, San Francisco Giants manager Gabe Kapler decided to remain in the team dugout to protest our national anthem. And rather than dedicate 2 minutes to his pathetic cowardice, I decided to highlight the story of my high school teammate, Chester McBride, who was tragically killed in Afghanistan while serving America. I would like to continue this Memorial Day tradition by honoring senior airman Benjamin Devine, an accomplished three-sport athlete in high school. Ben served 5 years in the United States Air Force as a fire protection expert. During his tenure of service, he was awarded the Global War on Terrorism Service Medal, the Air Force Outstanding Unit Award, and the Arms Expert Marksmanship Ribbon. In August of 2011, while assigned as a firefighter in Kuwait, and with only 1 week to go before finally heading home, Benjamin paid the ultimate sacrifice when he died in a tragic accident. A larger-than-life figure to his family and friends, Ben's legacy will always remain with the people he impacted over the course of his life. While most people spend their lives searching for the easiest way out, others, like Benjamin Rice Devine, raise their hands high and say, "I'll go. I'll do my duty." And because of his sacrifice, I get to hug my children tight and talk about sports for a living. Thank you, Ben. Your story is an inspiration, and you will forever be a hero.
Oh, yeah. 100%.
Hell yeah, Cone.
Those are the people that we should be celebrating. These are heroes. Not these crazy groups of people like we mentioned earlier. These are the people that give us the ability to do this, you guys to do what you do, and I think they should have a whole month.
They should have a whole month.
Why do they have one
They get
day?
one day.
They should have a whole month.
But I think it's important to remind people for at least that one day why you get that one day off
Exactly
work.
right.
So Get Off My Lawn annually on Memorial Week will be dedicated to
I love that,
fallen
David.
service member.
I
Love it,
absolutely love that. All right, let's get to the Booster Club.
Let's go to Top Dog 23. Let's go to, hold on, we got a Cole. If I missed your donation, I'm sorry. Put it in the bottom of the chat. I remember one of them, Cole Frink, obviously his $2 daily donation.
Yep.
LeBron James is mid. NJ's a goat, and Jake is a traitor.
You have it memorized now.
That last part I think you just made up. I don't think Cole said it. Cole wouldn't disrespect me like that.
Cole started the hashtag Trader Jake in the chat.
Really?
Yeah, if you wanted to know.
Hold on, you said it was Cole? Hold on.
Yeah, Cole Frink. Let's go to Top Dog 23, $5 donation. Appreciate it, and you are the top dog. Funny how the left has no issue telling players like Bass to shut up and dribble. Did they want politics in the sports or just their politics in sports?
Look, a lot of this does come from a certain side, but I don't want to paint everybody. We have a bad habit in this country of taking half a group of people and assuming they all believe the same thing. Now, most of it is coming from a certain side, but I know people of a different side than I am on most things who agree 100% with what I'm saying. Like there's, I don't want to paint a huge swath of people like this because a lot of it is common sense. Again, I think this is a smaller group of radicalized people, all right? And we have that in everything, but their voices are the loudest right now. Because again, I think if you polled 8 out of 10 people walking down the streets of the United States, I mean, maybe outside of San Francisco, but like you polled 8 out of 10 people, they'd be like, yeah, you should be able to believe what you want to believe and have your values. But it is unbelievably hypocritical when that group of people talks about being oppressed or talks about being hated or talks about not being accepted, and they're the most intolerant people of all. And it is on its face laughable and also dangerous. And that's why, again, at the end of the day, people have to stand up on all sides. You brought up the men and women sports things. Women eventually have to stand up across the board, not just Sam Ponder and Riley Gaines and 4 other people. Women in general have to stand up. And until that happens, until those that are afraid to speak up actually speak up, we're going to continue to live in this crazy ass backwards place.
All right, Cole Frink, another $2 donation. He says, Bass is lucky he wasn't arrested. Canada is super woke.
Yeah, I'm not. We don't claim them.
All right, Tyler Jarvis, $10 donations. Tyler, thank you.
T-Jar.
Says, good morning, boys. Good morning to you, Tyler. It's my last day of work until summer break. Ooh, ooh. Jake, congratulations to you and your wife.
Thank you.
Wishing y'all a lifetime
Sorry,
of
ladies.
happiness.
Yes.
Love the show. Love y'all. And go Braves.
All right.
Yeah.
Can we beat the
Yeah,
A's?
everybody gets swept by the worst team in baseball.
Golly, don't do it. Don't bring it up.
Schuster's pitching. Today, great. Good,
Oh,
great,
embarrassing.
grand.
Let's go to
Get off the bus.
CGA. Who eats 30 pack?
Heck, lunches.
CG87343, $5 donation. Appreciate it, brothers. Says, advice for the Bengals. Put a sock in and let your players do the talking. The
Smart.
trash talking only hurts you and gives your opponent tackling fuel.
Yeah, tackling few.
Tackling few.
52. All right.
Phone lines are full.
Let's get to it. We're going to get back to the Booster Club. Let's get to the phone calls. I want to talk to some humans.
full. I say we start with our boy Sasha in Austin, Texas. Sasha, what's going on?
Hey, good morning, guys. Beautiful,
morning to
beautiful
you.
morning. Jake, welcome back.
Yes.
Good to have you get back in the States. And
Yeah.
I've got to say, as somebody who lived in Switzerland for a little over a year, Jake, you are actually right. The food tastes better in Europe.
It does. I'm sorry.
Well,
Sorry, not sorry.
Sasha, I want you to know the FBI's at your house.
And a dragon.
Well, you know, Blaine, if the FBI's at my house, then they've figured out where the lair is and we're all doomed, and that's okay
Yeah.
because I can defend myself.
There you go.
Yes.
There you go.
We go through and do that. And so, yeah, whenever you travel abroad, it's the way that we do food here in the U.S. is everything is just made to where you're going to make money. And so they're
Yep.
worried about making
More.
sure everything stays fresh on the shelves. And they're worried about quality over in Europe. And that's really where you get the difference. So, I love the food options in the U.S. better, but the food quality is definitely better in Europe.
That's the
And,
best way to
Cones,
put
go
it.
Blue.
Yes,
Go blue,
Sasha,
buddy.
that's the best way to put
Yeah.
it. Thank you.
Go blue.
Thank you.
Look, there's certain things you can come after, okay?
You know,
You can come after baguettes, all right? You can come after soup,
It's-
But you come after ribs, all right? You come after oysters. I grew up in the water, cuz I'm Kevin Costner, okay? I basically have gills.
Sasha, did you like the ribs in Texas more or in Switzerland?
So I never had ribs in Switzerland. I never had ribs in France.
So Texas.
So
is-
Texas.
Yeah.
So
Texas.
Texas.
Blaine,
It doesn't matter where in the world you are, a sea snot rocket will never be good.
Oh, now he's coming after oysters.
Here's, I
Can't agree with you
no, I
there,
do want to
buddy.
say
I
this.
can't trust
No,
him.
no,
do
no,
it
no.
there.
I do want to say this. Blaine, you do realize that America's like only 300 years old, right?
Okay.
Like, you know how old France is? You know how long they've been doing food?
You know how much we've accomplished in 300 years?
A lot. But
Especially-
guess what?
especially-
Not having the best quality food.
Especially in
haven't
that
accomplished
oven and on that grill.
Yeah.
All right? Dude, hey,
If you
I don't. Every
compare-
time I do, you ever watch the rib cooking challenge?
If you
on Food Network?
compare grilled ribs to baked ribs one more time,
I said oven.
I'm gonna panic.
I said
on this
oven
show.
and the grill.
I'm gonna panic.
Listen.
They're different.
I thank you.
Okay, so when I'm sitting here, I'm not saying that the grilled ribs
No,
in
it's-
France are better than the grilled ribs here.
We
I said
know
the
that.
baked ones are.
Yeah, okay.
And that's right.
Thank you for
Yeah.
like, what I already know. I'm just saying, no, they're not.
Sasha, thank you for reinstigating this fight. Also, that's a good reminder. All Access got moved to today.
Yes.
Yes, All Access will be today. So hop in there, Sasha, and you can get this
I will see
debate
you boys
going
there.
again.
Sounds good.
Can't wait,
See you,
man.
Sasha.
All right, let's go to Kirk in Canada. I'm
Kirk.
sure this is Stanley Cup related.
Be safe, Kirk.
Let's see. Kirk, what's going on?
Hey guys, I'm going to talk about hockey in a second, but I do want to make a quick comment on the Anthony Bass thing.
Yes, please.
You're talking to a diehard Jays fan. I started going to games back in the 1970s. Went to Exhibition Stadium, which is where they used to play back in the day. Saw Jesse Barfield hit a grand slam, and with my own eyes, it was awesome.
Oh, gee.
But I tell you what, man, that comment yesterday just about made me throw up. That was unbelievable. That you can't own an opinion because you work for the Toronto Blue Jays.
Yeah.
That is
It's
pretty
fascism, right? Fascist. All right? Isn't that
Yeah,
what?
be careful.
Yeah.
Anti-fascist.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, there's lots of Canadians that love their country just as much as Americans love their country, but what's happening up here is just an atrocity. It's absolutely pathetic.
Well, y'all got to get rid of. Y'all
yeah.
got to get rid of. Oh boy,
Trudeau. What is the vibe up there,
Oh.
Kirk? What's the vibe in Canada? Because from an outsider's perspective, we were talking about it today. I mean, what do most Canadians think about this? You know, the ballpark having Pride nights and a player can't even stand up for his religion.
It's pretty amazing how many Canadians are just sheep. Like they just do what they're told because, you know, that's what they've been always done, been told to do. But more and more are waking up, I'll tell you. It's I don't know if you guys are familiar with Rebel News and Ezra Levant out in Calgary, but they're doing a great job helping people, see the light and say, hey, there is another way to go. You can actually have another opinion other than the mainstream legacy media.
It's man, y'all got to be careful. That's a slippery slope y'all are on up there.
Yeah, going to end the thought on a positive note with hockey. You boys hear who won the World Championships on the weekend or no?
That would be Canada?
That would be Canada.
Yeah! Look, hockey, nobody's sitting here claiming, hockey obviously isn't doing great, but I will say, Kirk, as somebody who is a Leafs fan, right? Correct?
Correct.
How do you feel about Florida playing Las Vegas for Lord Stanley's Cup?
It's interesting that you would mention that because I did a little research last night on the Canadian-born players on all of the NHL playoff teams. The number one team with 22 out of 36 players that has more Canadians than any other team is the Vegas Golden Knights.
Wow.
Put a scuba gear on, did a deep dive.
Look, they're not the first Canadians to want to go in Vegas and stay, believe me.
And the second team is Edmonton. They couldn't make the Stanley Cup final because you can only have one team in the Western Conference. And the third team of the 16 with the most Canadians, 17 out of 34, 50%.
The Panthers.
The Florida Panthers.
Wow. So, hey, it's outsourcing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Coming on down. I will say, and Blaine brought this up, Kirk, as a diehard hockey fan, that like I know you are, what are your thoughts on the rules for the expansion teams and kind of the advantages that they're giving you? Because it seems like no league has better expansion teams than the NHL.
Kraken
the Kraken. You can go through the list. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, yeah, I think you make a good point there. I think every team is only allowed to protect a certain amount of players, and then the rest of them can just be stripped from the team. And it's pretty controversial. The very first year that Vegas was a team, they made it to the Stanley Cup final. I mean, in what other sport have you seen that?
No, I mean, it's
year one.
Yeah, again, I get it. You get an expansion team. Why? Because you're trying to expand interest. Mm-hmm. What expands interest quicker than the first couple of years you have a brand new team? All of a sudden, y'all are good.
The first couple years. The first year, I have a lot of questions.
Yeah, that's the trick, though.
It doesn't incentivize the other teams to scout well. It's
like if you were taking somebody like fishing, right, that had never been fishing before, and you really want them to get them interested in fishing, and they didn't really know a lot about it. Well, what do?
Stock pond.
You stick the pole right into the ground, and you put a fish on the other end and throw it out there, a big fish. You let them grab the pole, and all of a sudden, here we go, and they're hooked. The oldest trick in the book.
They're hooked.
That's
what's funny, not the fish.
That's
anyway,
exactly right.
Kirk, we love it, man.
Hey, stay safe up there, Kirk. We appreciate you, buddy.
All in Friday, too. All right, let's go to James in Washington State. James, what's going on?
Hamez, what's up?
What's going on, gentlemen? Happy to be in the trust tree this morning.
Yes, sir. You are.
Let the dirt just shower over
right under that wing.
Well, as you guys always say, football season's never over, so I just wanted to give a call in about some NFL chatter and just wanted to see your thoughts on Kyle Shanahan. And you guys talk about needing to be a CEO type head coach in the NFL to be the ultimate success with the Super Bowl. I was just curious if you think Kyle can take that next step and get over the hump.
Yeah. I think if Brock Purdy doesn't get hurt last year, they got a good shot to make a ton of noise, there at the end. I think, the thing about Kyle is we know offense is his bag, right? We know offense is his bag. And I'm not saying that he needs to go over there and stand with the defense the whole time and hype them up. In the NFL, you do need to be a guy that is all-encompassing. You do need to be a guy that is a CEO. But in the NFL, you have a GM. In the NFL, you have an owner. In the NFL, you are dealing with legitimate grown men who understand how much of a business it is. So if you're a more offensive-centric guy, like a Jon Gruden, like we talked about, you can kind of get away with spending more time on one side, especially if you are the play caller. The thing I think with Kyle Shanahan is he's got all the pieces in the right places. Mm-hmm. It's going to come down was Brock Purdy a flash in the pan, or was he a dish that people are going to be coming back every Sunday to want to order? And I think Brock has a chance to. He had surgery on that UCL. We'll see how he does when he comes back. But yes, look, Kyle understand it. We know whose son he is. We know he understands how it works, especially in that league. We know the relationships he has with the higher-ups there. And if I'm a 49ers fan, with the roster you've put together, with the coach that you have, who we know is a legitimate play caller, just run the ball when you get up 28-3. You right now, you're in a better spot than I can remember the 49ers being. I know D'Amico Ryans is gone, all right? And he was a hell of a coach, and I love the hire that the Texans made. But I think the Niners are in a great, so they're the best thing going about San Francisco right now.
The best precedent for Kyle Shanahan is his protege, Sean McVay.
Yeah.
Right? Because Sean McVay and Andy Reid, to be honest, just showcasing that, hey, you can be an offensive-minded guy and still be the CEO-type head coach that can win Super Bowls and win at the highest levels. And what do you want more than anything is to have a great roster.
Yes.
Like, that's what you really want. And I think the 49ers have the second-best roster in the NFL behind the Eagles, apart from the quarterback position. And I know Brock Purdy really showed out when there were zero expectations. That's not how it's going to be coming
Very
this year.
true.
There's going to be a ton of expectations because that team I just talked about, the Eagles, they also happen to be in your conference. So you have to get over that hump before you even make it to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, hey, Cal, how about you run the ball in the second half? Offensive genius.
You talking about the Super Bowl?
Yeah, you're up 28-3. If that's not the easiest get over the hump now, then I don't know what is. I mean, they got a great roster, but they're not getting any younger. I know that. So if it's going to happen, it needs to happen soon because there's just a corral of phenomenal quarterbacks that are in the NFL.
True.
Patrick Mahomes, Joey B. You're going to go through all these guys, all right? So we'll see. I like Kyle. He is an offensive genius. I'll give him that. Him and Sean McVay, he's always part of that tree. But it's a lot harder now than it was when you're sitting at halftime walking up 28-3.
Yeah, and obviously he was the offensive coordinator then, not the head coach. So if we're looking from a head coach stability standpoint, I think that is a lesson, a very hard lesson, a lesson he will never forget. But it's different when you're the head man in the head chair. And I do want to say this, when you talk about the roster, when you talk about Brock Purdy, fantastic point. There are expectations. It's a lot different when you come in and, you're always the most popular guy as the backup, especially when you have success because the fans are like, I told you so.
Yeah.
Well, now you're sitting in that chair. And remember, it's just like with Major League Baseball pitchers, right? A lot of times you see that young rookie go in there and those first 2 to 3 starts, he's shoving. You're like, oh, my God, this guy's the best guy since Cy Young. And then the book's out on you. And then you have to adjust to when they adjust. Is Brock Purdy capable enough, put health aside, let's assume he's healthy, is he capable enough to adjust when defenses adjust to his game and they start to eliminate things and the full menu's not open? But that's when that dominant roster comes into effect because there's an old saying in sports, you can't double everybody.
Yeah.
And when you look at the weapons they have right now at the 49ers, they're in as good a shape as anybody to be able to not only be good for a year. I know they're getting older, but they still have some young pieces. And when you have multiple pieces, you can protect guys. It's just like you don't have to give a guy 25 carries a game like Christian McCaffrey to be able to win. You can give him 15 and throw him the ball 3 or 4 times and spell him a little bit. So I would feel very good about where you're at as a team right now in San Francisco, James.
James, how do you feel about Brock Purdy leading this team?
I was very impressed with how he performed. The elbow injury was a little concerning, and his willingness to come back in to just hand off the ball is a little bit suspect to me. But
I agree with that.
I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt and give the organization the benefit of the doubt and put my trust in him and see where he can take us.
I think that's the right move. Look, he was a 4-year starter at Iowa State and had an offer we talked about. That's a legitimate Alabama offer from Nick Saban. So the kid can play quarterback for sure. Yeah. Hey, James, call back in closer to football season. Let's talk some more 49ers, all right?
Thanks, James.
Hey, Sister Riggs on the line in Wisconsin.
Queen Riggs.
Queen Riggs, what's going on?
Off of this head.
Good morning, guys.
Morning.
I hate to come after Cone after such an excellent get off my lawn. But he said something last week that I just feel like I have to say, which is bold of him to assume that I'm going to let dead to me Kirk Cousins anywhere near my fantasy football team this season coming up. It's not going to happen.
Sister Riggs, I think you're going to draft Kirk Cousins. You'll probably get him around the 8th or 9th round. And you know what? He's going to be super above mid for you.
Yeah, well,
Listen,
Sister Riggs, as the fantasy champion on this set, I drink
Here we go.
It's a beautiful golden chalice every day. You're not drafting.
Who she beat last year, she said.
Okay, yeah, so because you're the queen, so obviously bend the knee. But
Thank you.
you're not drafting Kirk Cousins. Okay, it's not going to happen.
No.
It'll be waste of a pick. Don't do it. That's what people who don't come in first say.
Well,
I drafted Kirk. Hey, I drafted Kirk Cousins as a joke. He was the second quarterback I drafted, and I thought it'd be funny.
It's hilarious. We're all laughing and
him.
pointing at David.
And then he turned out to be playing, and granted, Aaron Rodgers was injured, but he tended to play a little bit better, so I flipped him for Rodgers, and he burned me.
Yeah.
And, fool me once,
That's how it is.
shame on me. Fool me twice.
Look, the thing with Kirk Cousins, we know the recipe, right? It has to be a home game, and it can't be past 1 o'clock, or it's bedtime for Kirk.
Well, Murder, She Wrote comes on at 3.
Yeah, the Cops comes on at 4.
No, Sister Riggs. Yeah, I think there's a better chance of aliens landing right outside the studio after the show this morning than there is of you drafting Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, because I'm going to draft him first.
Yeah.
I just love
do it, Dave.
Feel free to
do
call
it.
in on every time to hate on
Enjoy
Kirk
that.
Cousins, please.
Round 1.
Definitely.
Yeah. All right. Well, everybody mark that. Write it down. David's drafting Kirk Cousins. Round.
All right, you locked it in?
Locked it
Locked it in? All right, we're locking it in.
I'm just putting out some of that disinformation, that pre-draft
that
disinformation.
propaganda, that cone propaganda just sneaks around.
Sister Riggs, it's great to hear you on the line. What else is going on in Wisconsin?
So, well, actually, I was going to ask you guys about the Vikings, speaking of Kirk Cousins, because it was really interesting to me that in the quarterback realm, they decided to go with Jaron Hall as a quarterback when other quarterbacks such like Max Duggan were still on the board. And I was just curious, why would you Max Duggan, who made it all the way to the championship, who was a good leader on that TCU team, who I enjoyed watching play last year. I was surprised. And full disclosure, I had Jaron Hall on my college fantasy team. So it's not that I don't think Jaron Hall is a bad quarterback. He did make me lose the championship game to Jake, so maybe I'm a little bitter. But, why would you choose to Hall over Duggan? I was just surprised.
Sister Riggs, listen, we were down at the Senior Bowl, and we saw both of them, and I was much more impressed with Max than I was with Jaron. I mean, I think Jaron is one of those guys that was a good college quarterback, a guy that was able to improvise really well. I just don't think he has the accuracy that Max has. I don't think he has that same moxie that Max has when it comes down to, kind of diagnosing what's in front of him. So I agree with you 100%, but never underestimate an NFL organization's ability to reach on a quarterback. Because we see it all the time. It's not just at the top, right? It's not just at the top 3. You see it late. I would take Max Duggan with a broken thumb on his non-throwing hand over a fully healthy Jaron Hall in the NFL and honestly in college as well. So I'm with you. I mean, I have no explanation other than a lot of guys sit in a room and talk themselves into doing things because that's just what guys do.
Sister Riggs, we appreciate you calling.
Thank you, sister.
Hey, all access today, okay?
Yeah.
All access today on Wednesday. Thank you. See you. All right, Jan in Texas. Let's keep it rolling. Yeah. Jan, what's going on?
Hey, good morning, boys.
Good morning.
2 quick things. Kudos, Dave, on your Get Off My Lawn today.
Oh, thank
you. Jake, welcome back. Congratulations.
Thank you, Jan. Thank you.
One piece of advice: when you come to Texas, I wouldn't bring up the ribs.
No. Look. But here's my thing, though, Jan. I'm coming to Texas to get some ribs off the grill. Let's be honest, right?
But you can't not backpedal yourself out of that. So don't.
Listen, I'm not walking into the lion's mouth.
Love this.
Well, okay. Now to the real reason I called. I don't know a darn thing about gambling. I don't know what this Booster Club donation thing is, but I do know what a trifecta is. And I want to give a big shout out to, I'm going to ruin his name, I'm sure, but Ludwig Aberg, who is a Texas Tech golfer this last Monday, he became number one PGA Tour University on Monday, and he became the sixth player to, in one season, win the Hogan Award, the Haskins Award, and the Nicklaus Award. And to put the bow on it, he got his full status for the tour for 2023 and 2024.
Unbelievably impressive. Look, if your name's Ludwig, you're either really good at golf or at playing the piano. So, like, I'm 100% as somebody who attempts to play golf.
Play well.
And there's college golf is in such a great place. There's so many great players and great teams, and they're coming down the stretch right now. So to be able to win all those three as competitive as it is right now, hats off to him. And by the way, did you see our interview with Coach McGuire? Speaking of Texas Tech.
Oh, well, do you think I didn't see it?
I got to give you more credit than that, Jen.
Yeah, I probably watched it 5 or 6 times already. Come on.
He's a great guy. Y'all are in very good hands out there in Lubbock. And when I come out there, I'm getting ribs straight off the grill.
You better do it. I tell you, and we play blue collar ball out here, so you know the SEC thinks they're big boy ball, but we got some balls out here. So.
Hey, Jan, y'all probably be in the SEC in 5 years anyway, so then we can all just come together and everybody just hang out and eat ribs.
That's right. Okay, thanks so much.
Hey,
thank you, Jan. We love you
so
too.
much, Jan, and thanks for telling us about that story. I just looked it up here. So he became the 6th golfer all time to sweep the Hogan, Haskins, and Nicklaus awards.
Yeah, man went double.
Yeah, you're good.
Clean sweep, man.
He's good.
Incredible. All right, let's go to Cody in Illinois.
Cody.
Maybe a little trivia time?
Cody?
I don't know.
Make sure y'all put y'all's electronics down.
All right, I got something new for you guys today. Who's ready to play Guess That Franchise?
Oh, let's do it. The Blue Jays.
I'd like
to
that
play.
movie. Or...
All right, what do we got?
So I'll be reading you guys a series of clues about a specific professional franchise, and you guys are going to tell me what franchise it is. Now, this is going to be a franchise from one of the 4 major North American leagues.
Still a franchise right now, or not a franchise anymore? Like older, or still a franchise?
Well, it will. Just today, it will be a franchise that is still a franchise today.
Okay.
Maybe in the future, I'll change that up. But the clues are going to be the first year that they played.
Okay.
How many major relocations or name changes they've had.
Okay.
I will let you guys know if they played in a precursor league before playing in the league that they are now in.
Gotcha.
I'll let you know how many championships they've played in, how many championships they've won, and how many league MVPs they have had.
All right, Cody, let's get into it.
Yep.
Let's do it.
All right. First year played, 1960.
Okay.
Major relocations, name changes, 0. They did not play in a precursor league. They have played in 8 championships. They have won 5. And they have 1 league MVP. Okay. What franchise is it?
Okay. One of the 4 major sports. 1960. Did not play in a precursor league. They've had 1 MVP.
Hmm.
All right, I'm thinking. Let's get sport first.
I think it's just
football?
NFL, right?
It feels like
football.
NFL.
Okay, so 1960, 10 years before the merger. They've played in 8 championships. They've won 5. So if it's football, we're talking it could be.
When were the
Who's lost 3 Super Bowls? But,
Cowboys.
Okay, but Cowboys.
They've had more than 1 MVP, right?
Who?
Troy Aikman won an MVP?
Emmitt Smith.
Roger Staubach, maybe? But I also feel like they didn't come about until the late 60s.
So they've won 8. They've won 8. It's NFL. We're talking
played
8.
In 8. They've played in 8.
Played in 8.
Played in 8.
5.
Won 5. Lost 3.
Played in 8. 1-5, lost 3. I'm thinking NFL, David. I'm with you right there.
All right, so let's see. The Steelers have won 6. Big Ben won 2, and Terry Bradshaw won 4. So not them. So the Cowboys have won 3 Super Bowls in the 90s.
Dude, it's just that.
2
They play in 8. Is it?
It's Cowboys,
It's the
man.
Cowboys? Think it's the Cowboys?
Cowboys. Could be the Cowboys.
All right, we're going Cowboys.
All right, and that's your final answer?
Who'd they lose to? Who'd they lose 3 Super Bowls to?
The Niners?
Yeah.
Well, No, because they're both in the NFC.
Yeah.
Couldn't have lost the Super Bowls to the Niners.
All right, hold on. Not final answer. Come on.
Yeah, maybe baseball.
I don't know. I feel like it's NFL, man.
Hey. Big trust?
Big trust.
Big trust.
Big
All right.
trust.
Can we walk in the trust tree together?
Big
Yes.
trust.
Dallas Cowboys.
Okay.
Final answer.
So
Dallas
is
Cowboys.
Dallas our final answer?
It's final
Let's
answer.
try
All right, it is the Dallas Cowboys.
Nice.
Yes!
Okay.
Yes!
All right.
Make that
Well
face at
done,
him.
Lane.
Make that face at him.
So they would have lost before the Super Bowl started, right?
Great job, guys. Man.
No, so any of the championships are going to be only in the league that they're in now. I'm not going to give precursor championships.
Gotcha.
They lost 3
But the
championships in the
NFL
70s, and they won 2. And then
Gotcha.
they won 3 in the 90s.
Gotcha.
Man.
Gotcha.
That feels
All right,
good.
before I get off the phone, I have one other thing for you guys.
Go ahead, Cody.
So I have started an NCAA 07 dynasty, and today I'm going to read the stats for the true freshman starter
With who?
for the Michigan
Who'd you-
Wolverines.
Oh.
All right. And so each week after I call, I will be giving you guys a cone update on
Yes.
stats in NCAA 07.
Yes.
Yes.
Wait, are you playing with him or is this simulated?
Just simulating. I'm just going to
Okay,
simulate each
okay.
game.
Oh, that's so great.
Game 1 against Vanderbilt, the number 14 Michigan Wolverines won 26-7. And David Cone was 12 of 26 for 153 yards, 1 touchdown, and 1 interception.
Hey, you got to play better.
So-
Are we running
yeah.
the
So, yeah, we
option?
definitely got to play better to keep winning.
Yeah. Get in there,
So
right?
I think we're gonna
26?
let Mike Hart run a lot more.
Okay, well, look.
Yeah, well, they're running to play
really
action.
good.
They're running to play action.
Look,
we know
hey,
that.
Hey, come on, man.
Hey.
Figure it out.
Oh, hold on. Did he say we're 1-0? We're 1-0.
Yeah.
We can't be scoring
Would
only
you
26
throw the
points
damn
against
check
Vandy.
down? Would you throw the check down?
1-0.
Greedy.
God, greedy.
And churlish.
But
Yes,
good.
Cody, please keep us updated every week on how that's going.
All right, we'll do.
I'm
He's a
super
freshman, though.
jealous.
Game 1.
I'm
Game 1,
super
he's a
jealous,
freshman.
Dude. You know, he's got the 360, dude.
Nice job on the Cowboys.
Yes. Wow, I'm proud of
Good.
you. This may be the most proud I've ever been of you.
That's disappointing, but okay.
Peter in California. Let's keep it going. What's going on, Peter?
Peter.
Good morning, guys. How's it going?
Going great, man. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Jake, congratulations on your wedding. I wish you and your wife the very, very best in your future endeavors.
Thank you so much, man. I outkicked this first time as a special teams guy that I was happy to outkick my coverage.
I hope you had such a wonderful time in France. You know, I really wish I could have come along. I could have come along with you guys for a great vacation because, you know, Paris is a lot of good stuff.
It really was. We had an absolute blast. I was really shocked. I thought people were going to be like more rude than what they were, but they couldn't have been nicer.
They're saying it behind your back. That's what they're
Well, I didn't hear it, so how would I know it even happened? That's what you do.
Yeah, did you guys go to any cool cafes in Paris?
Man, there was like 300 cafes on every corner. We went to I'm gonna try and pronounce Quai Fume, was really good. AU 35 was one we went to, was where I had the baked ribs. Calm down. That was probably my favorite one, but they were all fantastic. And they're everywhere. It's crazy.
Oh, well, that's really cool. Yeah, I'm incredibly jealous. Anyways, first up, although I'm disappointed that that LA sports team ain't in the NBA Finals or the NHL Finals, look on the bright side. Like the chances of Boston kicking the butts of Boston sports teams kicking the butts of LA sports teams. We're going on.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Elon Musk, for bringing the Daily Wire, my favorite sports show, to Twitter. Thank you, Elon, the real Mr. Fix-It at Twitter. And that's a big one for the First Amendment right there. And finally, how far will Miami go? I mean, I personally believe that, you know, for Game 1 of the NBA Finals, Miami, I'm going to predict Miami under 5.5.
Ooh,
And I think they're going to win in 6 games.
Look, I am, Peter, first off, thank you so much, my friend. And yeah, we are putting the show up now on Twitter, so make sure you check that out. We appreciate the kind words, my friend. I know it's early over there where you're at too. But I will say, when it comes down to the Heat, it seems that being in the business of doubting this Miami Heat team is not a good business to be in. We're going to do a Flying Blind segment coming up tomorrow. where we're going to try and predict what's going to happen in the series. So I don't want to give away what I'm going to take, but I think you will be pretty happy with what I pick.
I think so. I'm looking forward to it tomorrow, Jake.
Definitely. Well,
thanks so much,
Peter. We appreciate it, man. Thank you so much.
Call in again soon, buddy. All right, I know we're strapped for time, but I do want to get to Noah quickly. Noah, we have 30 seconds. He's calling in from Plano, Texas. What's going on, Noah?
Noah, what's up, buddy?
Good morning, guys.
Morning.
So congratulations to Jake and his wife on their marriage. That is an exciting thing. All the best wishes for you.
Thank you so much.
Now, you guys put out a video over the weekend on the top 3 greatest sports moments of all time, and I had 3 of my own that I wanted to put in for a suggestion.
Go ahead.
In the running.
Go ahead.
All right, number 3, 2008 Super Bowl. Patriots, Giants. Patriots, one of the best teams they've ever had, working for an undefeated season. And then they get down to it with a minute 15 left in the fourth quarter. Giants are down 4. And David Tyree, with the last catch of his career, one of the greatest Super Bowl catches you've ever seen in your life, gluing it to his helmet with one hand to give the Giants, get them downfield, get them into scoring position, and give them the win into the 2008 Super Bowl.
Save the best for last.
Phenomenal football game.
Number 2. This one's going back a bit to July 21st, 1973. Philadelphia Phillies at the Atlanta Braves. Hank Aaron hits his 700th home run.
Yep, Fulton County.
One of the most memorable home runs in all of baseball history. And number 1, going out to the Olympics. Team USA, 1996. Gymnastics. Carrie Strug lands one of the greatest vaults in U.S. gymnastics history with an injured foot to win the USA the gold.
That's a great one.
I was watching the video hoping this one would be here, and it was not there. And so I had to make sure it got the recognition it deserved.
Noah, you got it in there, my friend. Those are 3. It's hard to argue. It's hard to argue.
I love those.
But yeah, Noah, call in again Friday.
All right, appreciate it, boys.
All right, buddy.
Anybody else on the line, call in Friday, y'all.
Yep. All right. Let's get to bets. Not the country Tibet. Tibets.
Yeah, 2
I'm not a monk.
2 bets.
Or am I?
6 bets, $1.
All right. Nobody's talking about that there was a change at the top in the standings right now. Nobody's talking about it. Not even one person.
Who's winning?
Nobody's talking about it.
Is it him?
No, I do want to say,
okay.
Booster Club bets have been fantastic this month. I think we've had over 1,000 bets. The winner will be decided today. And oh boy, Brygator, that's how you say it, hit a plus 400 parlay last night to hop in the Booster Club bet.
Hey, boy.
Wow, what did he
Sean
hit?
Ketz, our buddy Sean Ketz, he's right there.
What did he
It's
hit?
coming down to the
I know what he
wire.
hit.
I didn't just, I got told from Cody, our boy, the Graphic King, or the King of Getting Graphic, depending on which district you live in. But make sure you can find, I tweet it out every morning. Next month, it resets. The winner gets a Hall of Fame shirt mailed to them. So the winner of this month, the inaugural month, will get a Hall of Fame shirt and maybe something else sent to them. All you got to do is click on the links. You can see where to put your bets and then where the standings are. So make sure you do that. I want that to keep rising up. So how to get 6 bets, all right, to get to the number where we're all equal. Cone has 8, I have 6, the other 2 guys have 2. So I'm going Giants money line, A's money line, Mariners money line, all right? And then I'm going Mets plus 1.5, then give me the Mets, Phillies, Nerfy, and give me the Brewers, Blue Jays over 9.5. Just go 4-2. If I go 4-2, I think I cement it, all right? I think I cement it, but it's going to be a fist fight down to the end. Yep. So that's what I got. Blaine, what do you got? You're still in this too.
I'm taking, look, I gave up on this a while ago.
Why?
Give me the Braves minus 1.5, minus 140. I just don't think the Braves get swept. I think they come out and play a good game today. A lot better team than the A's. Give me the Dodgers at home, minus 1.5, minus 115.
David.
All right, I have to take 8 today, I was told, so I'm going to take Nerfies in the following games. No runs, first innings for White Sox, Cubs, Orioles, A's, Giants, Dodgers, Red Sox, and Mets.
Baby Cohn was 9-6 yesterday, took all Nerfies. It's a profitable day at the office. He's going to go Blue Jays money line at -195 and Marlins money line. Braxton Garrett on the mound today should be a heck of a game, and that's at +100. It's coming down to it. All right. Now, I know we get to the Booster Club, but I do want to give a shout out to two people. One, our boy Swanee. Said we didn't have enough Saints rep on the studio, so he sent in a Saints flag.
Love it.
Swanee, thanks, buddy. And a picture with us with Riley Gaines that we're going to sign and send back to him.
Wow.
How about that?
That's cool.
How about that? Look at it. Anyways, and then our buddy Matthew Reardon. He's getting married, y'all. All right? He's getting married. Send us an invite to the wedding. We're super jacked and tan for Matthew. Gonna tie the knot. We're gonna be sending that RSVP back, buddy. Don't worry about that. Remember, you want to mail in stuff, we'll put it on the set. All right? It's the trust tree. You're in it. Look around. Hey, it's me. Hey, it's you. Hey, it's us. What's going on in the Booster Club?
All right, let's get some donations here. Cole Frink, another $2 donation. Really appreciate all the donations, Cole. Hashtag Trader Jake. America makes the best barbecue. It's no contest. Let's go to Tristan, $5 donation. When Eric Swallow finds out that Jake is a French spy, you better watch out.
Oh, yeah. That dude's the worst. Does anybody have a more... You know what? I'm not even going to say
Let's
that.
go to JT.
Fang Fang?
Yeah.
Fang Fang?
Fang Fang?
It's like, dude, you
Ding
got...
Dong and Ding Dang?
Yeah.
JT Brown, $5 donation. New viewer.
What?
Yeah.
I don't even know Jake, but his last name is French, therefore spy. It's obvious.
Wow, coming in hot.
Wow. That one hurts, but thanks for watching.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's go to... You want to go ahead and get to this poll?
Okay.
The answer is yes.
You're in control over there.
All right, we have 2 minutes left. Might as well go get to... Is Jake a French spy?
Yes. 85%.
I'm not answering this.
85%? It's such a spy thing to say.
No, I'm not answering it.
Answer the poll, dude.
I know they said yes.
Whatever you think.
Like probably 72%.
So what'd you say, Dave?
85.
85. So, yes, 75%. No, 20.
Can't go anywhere. Can't go anywhere nowadays.
Yeah.
Can't go anywhere. I guess we'll go to Spain. I'll be a
France.
Spanish spy.
You love France.
I like the food.
You like France.
You think that's some just crazy
Why'd you
take?
come back?
Huh?
Dude.
I don't know. I'm asking myself the same question.
Oh, good show, guys.
Okay.
All access today.
Yeah.
Yes.
1 Central.
1 Central. I love it.
Yep. PM.
PM.
Yes.
The other one's already passed.
Yeah, you can't get back. Well, can you? Denzel Washington, Deja Vu.
Wait, if one of
He
us
didn't know what he was walking.
Wait, if one of us invents time travel in the future, we'll come back to right now. Okay. Apparently
I'd come back to like right before Jake ate those ribs. It's like trash.
You would, because you're a different spy. I'm not even gonna
say it.
Nope.
Say it.
We appreciate you guys watching us. Make sure you follow us on all social medias. Got all access today. Go to the Daily Wire Plus. It's great content. Go buy some merch too. We really appreciate it. We got some ideas percolating in our minds. And like the chances of you being able to espouse your personal values if you play for the Blue Jays, we're going, gone.